Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Small Voice Through the Fog. Now, I think the actual full title is still Small Voice Through the Fog, just shortened there to be able to fit it on the screen. It all sounds very creepy to me though, which is why I ended up with this scary, creepy, mysterious setting where Sleuth is walking through a dark, foggy forest. And there's some kind of weird looking, I don't want to call them monsters, but creatures in the background, maybe making that weird, still, small voice as if to attract attention. And you turn around and, well, here's a giant, I don't even know how to describe it. Now, I'm sure all of you by now have figured out that today's puzzle includes fog, since the title. And it's another one of Meggen 033's fog puzzles, which you guys absolutely love. So really glad to be playing this one on a Sunday evening nonetheless, so a good way to wrap up a week's puzzles, and to get ready, I guess, for the week ahead for all of us. So with that said, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets with Still Small Voice Through the Fog by Meggen 033. I can see the reference now to the voice with the German whisper line. Don't know why I didn't get that earlier. Rules-wise, we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and every 3x3 box. Then we have probably my favorite twist on fog that Meggen 033 does, which is there is one and only one green German whisper line, along which adjacent digits must have a difference of at least 5. Now, we'll get onto what the German whispers are in a second, but it means that these green lines must connect somehow. And it may end up doing like a loop of some sort around the grid, but it will also come back. So there is only one line, and that will allow you to make some deductions to some degree around what's going on in some of the fog-covered areas. Now, German whisper lines, quick reminder that if this is, a 2, for example, this would have to be 7, 8, or 9 to be 5 or more away. Moreover, this cell, which is also inside the fog, would have to be 7, 8, or 9 to be 5 or more away. And you oscillate, of course, between high digits, 6, 7, 8, 9, low digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back and forth. No 5s on German whisper lines. Digits in cages do not repeat, and sum to the clue in the top left. So if this cell is a 3, for example, this would have to be a 5 to make sure that these two cells add up to 8. These two cells add up to 10. We have black dots between cells, so this is where we're going to have to use a little bit of our imagination. Yeah, that's the only time we're going to have to do that though. So if you imagine, yeah, there's white dots and black dots. So let's go with black. Let's go with white. Now, essentially, if I make this cell a 2, and this is a black dot, not a cross, but a dot, it means that cells with a black dot between them have to be in a 2-to-1 ratio. So that would have to be 1 or 4, so that essentially one of these cells is double the other. Cells with a white dot between them, not a grey cross, use your imagination, would have to be consecutive. So this would have to be 1 or 3, so that it is indeed consecutive with the 2. Not all dots are shown, so the fact that these are fake dots that I have in here, and if I end up with 2 and 4, without a black dot between them, that's not a problem. A 2 and 3, no white dot between them, also not a problem. Then, of course, the obvious part is the grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placing digits within will clear the fog around that cell. So that cell is truly a 2, then all of these fog-covered cells are going to be revealed and hopefully will allow us to make a bit more progress. So, that's all the rules we have for today. As always, if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Come on, yeah. Right. I really tried not to ruin this, but, this is clearly 1-7. 3 ways of doing 8 and 2 cells. 1-7 is one of them. 2-6 doesn't work. Only 4 apart on this German whisper line. And 3-5 clearly doesn't work either. Now, if this is 7, that's 1. That would be 2. If this is 1, well, that's 7. That would have to be 6, 8, or 9. And I imagine, no, it's not quite the same. You see, if this is 7, that's 1. It doesn't force this to be a 2 because it doesn't see this cell. So that could actually be 1 So it could be 1, 2, or it could be 6, 8, 9. Okay. The 10 cell cage. So 10 is always interesting. It always has to be made up of a low digit and a high digit. It never includes a 5. And none of these cells are now 5 because they're German whisper lines. Chances are they're connecting this way, but we don't actually know for certain. They'll be making an assumption. Let's think about it. We've got 1 and 7. This can't be 1, 9. This can't be 3, 7. This can be 2, 8. And of course it could be 4, 6. 4, 6 doesn't work because it would require, so if this is 6, it would require a double 1 in the column, the two neighbors. And obviously that would break Sudoku. Same if it's a 4, that would require a double 9. So that has to be 2, 8. That removes 2 and 8 from here. More importantly, that means that this is now a high digit, not a low digit. And I actually know that it's a 9 because remember, there is one and only one line. So if that's a 6, how am I going to connect it to another German whisper line cell without it being a 1 in the same box? I'm still, like, I mean, maybe it's not linked. There's obviously the chance that this line is going round and then stopping, but never actually linking. So not going to make that assumption. I know that this is high. I know that this is low. That's 1, that's 7. There you go. That was actually a good assumption. I'm going to disable pencil mark checking. Pardon me. Right. So that was a good shot, not making an assumption that's 6. That does mean that this has to be low. So this is, sorry, that has to be a 9. So this has to be 1 or 2. This has to be a high digit. Notice that's going diagonally down this way. So this would have to be, well, I can't do 6 because yes, I can have a 1 in here, but I can't have a 1 in any of the surrounding cells. So 6 is off the table, but 7, 8, and 9 are all available. Okay. This German whisper line continues into here and then there. Yeah, clearly with the way the direction of the line is going, it's not doing something like that, for example. So it's clearly doing like a right angle in here. So if this is 2, well, 8 is gone, 7 is gone, 6 is too close, it would have to be 9. If this is 8, well, 1 is gone, 2 is gone, 4 is too close, this would have to be 3. I don't know why I made the 9 in here. I think I meant to put it in here. Give me a second. If it's 2, I need a high digit, and it's not 7, 8, and 6 is too close, so that would be 9, yeah. And if this is 8, well, 1, 2 is gone, 4 doesn't work, this would have to be 3, fine. If this is 3, well, that wouldn't be 8, it would have to be 9. And if it's 9, I've got 1, 2 down, this would be 6, but I guess this could be 3 or 4 still. I'm not sure I've actually forced it, I just want to, look, is this always a 6, this is kind of what I'm getting at. There always seems to be a 9 in here, and 8 is gone, and 7 is gone. So it is 6, just not for the reasons we expected earlier. It does mean that there is another 3, 4, 9, and a 5 in here. Fair enough. Less interesting here, is it? Let's think about this. If this is 8, the neighbor would be 7 or 9, and that doesn't work on a black Kropke dot, so that can't be an 8. That means that this has to be an even digit, and it will be 6 or 8. This would make this 3 or 4. Essentially, you know, half of 6 or 8. Can't be double. 3 or 4 in this 14 cage tells us it's definitely more than 2 cells, but I don't know how much more than 2 cells. 7 works. I could do 1 and 2, for example, and then exit. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not sure again. Let's think about this cell then. If it's 8, this is 1, 2, or 3, it could be anything. No, if it's 8, well, we know that this is 3. This will be 1 or 2. And if it's 2, we know that this is 9. And it can't be 6, so it would have to be 7 or 8. So we have limit choices, but not that much. Not enough, more importantly, to actually be able to place a digit. What is going on? So one of these has to be high, and it has to be the 9. That makes this a 7, which makes this a 1, 2. That's 2, 8. That is definitely a 1. That's the 2. 1 in here gives us options, although technically it's coming back up. So that can't be a 6, otherwise it would be double 1 in row 3. So this is 7, 8, or 9. 2 cells that add up to 14. This can only ever be 5, 9, or 6, 8. It's not 6, 8, otherwise it would break this cell. That's 5, 9. The 9 in here gives me direction, 5 and 9. Then I have another 3, 4, and another 6, 8. The 14 cage, as we suspected, is more than 2 cells. Well, I mean, as we know, is more than 2 cells. The 8 in here, we don't know if it's 1 or 2 cells. This is, yeah, like Meggen's puzzles. They really do require you to think about what's going on. Right, this is 3 or 4. I know that because it needs to be a low digit, and it's not 1 and it's not 2. That means that this is not a 7 to be next to 3 or 4. It also gives me 3, 4 pair, which I think makes this definitely the 5. Because essentially the loose digit that is left in this box is a 3, 4 next to the 5. And that is not 3, 4 with its 3, 4 pair. So that's 5. That's 3, 4 next to the 3, 4, 9. This cell is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be 6. It's not 7. It's not 8. It's not. I was going to say it's probably a naked single, and it is. That's 6. Therefore, that's 8. That's 4. That's 3. And that is the 3, which gives me 4. And this is a 3, 9 pair in here. Still doesn't give me polarity on this German whisper line, which is not that helpful, but it is what it is. The 3 can only be next to 8 or 9, and it's not an 8. That's a 9. And this is a known digit. It's a 7. We can pencil mark the rest of this, and I may as well do that. This is 2, 4, 6, I'm going to say. And these are 1, 5, and 8, I believe. This 9 needs a low digit next to it. It seems like I can even put a 4, because I could have double 9 that way. This is not where I'm meant to go. 4, I need 2 cells that add up to 14. 14, oh, sorry. I need 2 cells to add up to 10. Can I repeat? I didn't actually notice that. Digits in cages do not repeat. So there isn't a 4, 6 in here. There isn't a 2, 8 in here. So this would have to be 3, 7 or 1, 9. And I've got some direction. The 1 and 7 would have to be in here. The 7 would be joined with a 3 and the 1 would be joined with a 9. Not enough necessarily to place the digits though. Interesting. Am I missing like some obvious Sudoku? I don't think I am. So I need it to be 10, and it can't be 2, 8, and it can't be 4, 6 because the 4 is already inside it. So yeah, 9, 1 works, 3, 7 works. This 8 is now interesting. If it's 2 cells, it's not 1, 7, it's not 3, 5, it would be 2, 6. But I don't know if it's 2 cells. It can absolutely be 3 cells, and I could have the 1 in either of these two. And then if it is a 1 in there, this would have to be 2, 5. If it's a 3-cell 8 cage. So it'll be 1, 2, 5 because it can't be 1, 3, 4. And then this would be 7 and this would be 3. Now if it's 2, 6, I really don't think it gives us anything. But like I need something to make progress. What is that something? So we have 1 high digit, 2 high digits. It doesn't give us anything on this, does it? 1, 2, 3, or 4. I mean, it tells us that this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. And I'm including 6 because the 1 and the next one that follows that 6, you never know, could be in here, for example. So I think we've got to do something with this 8 cage, I believe. If it's 2, this is 9, and this is 7 or 8. If it's 8, this is 3, And this is 1 or 2. Yeah, I'm not really eliminating options here. So 6 isn't here. 6 could easily be one of these two cells, and obviously could be here with a 6 and 2. What are the... We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. The other digit I haven't pencil marked is the 5, which, to be fair, if this is 1, 2, 5, could still be here, and here, and here, and there, and there. So everything else we have pencil marked. I am missing something. Usually when I say I am missing something, it's Sudoku. Usually. Just gonna double check the rules. Normal Sudoku rules. German whispers. Digits in cages do not repeat, and some to the clue in the top left. Black dot, white dot. Fog. No. And we don't know what this cell swings towards after this. So that's not helping either. So 4 is in none of these, 4 is none of these, 4 is not here. I say it's not inside the 8 gauge. If it's 2 cells, it's not inside it. If it's a 3 cell, well, remember the 1 would have to be here because of this one, and then it can't be 3, 4. So none of these could be 4, but it's just like, it's not helpful. I'm like 9 staring at an 8. That is a lot more helpful. Gives us a 2 cell 8 gauge, which means this can only be 2, 6. That is way more helpful. Eliminating an 8 doesn't make this, I mean, because that could still be 7, 2, 9. This cell means that this is low and it's not 2. It could be 1, 3, or 4, which still gives us the opportunity of this being a 6 with a double 1. Also means that this could be a 4 with a double 9. That's a high digit, but it doesn't have to be 7 or 8. In fact, it is a 9 because, yeah, 6, 7, and 8 are all gone. It's always a 9. Then it backs up on itself for another low digit that is not a 2. It's 1, 3, 4. And again, because it's heading diagonally, that can be a 4 with a double 9. 1, 3, 4, 1, 7. So, I mean, one thing we have in place in all of this is a 5, which can only be in here now. And I'm leaning towards this is another 1, 3, 4, and the only place where 7 is in here. 7 can't be on a black crop dot. Half of 7 is 3.5, double of 7 is 14, neither of which works. This is not a 7 now. That is a low digit. That is a high digit. Low, low, high. Fantastic. The 1, 2 now clearly goes here. So this is a high digit. That can't be a 6. If it's 6, one of these, I mean, we can see just about the German whisper line peeking through. So it's heading diagonally. That would mean it would be 6 with a double 1. Not possible. And it's not 8. This is 7 or 9. Which means, once again, this is 6 or 8. And this is a low digit. There is not 2 or 3. It is 1 or 4. Again, I'm using the fact that I can see the German whisper line peeking through there. Trying to see if I can eliminate options. So, I mean, if this is from the 1, 2, 4, 8 group, that would have to be 1, that would have to be 2, because the 2, 4, 8 up there. If it's from the 3, 6 group, that 3 tells me that would be the 3, and this would be the 6. So that's that black crop dot fully pencil marked. Five is none of these. Gives me 5 in one of 2 cells, which is not quite enough. So essentially I have another 5, then another 7, 9, then another 6, 8. No, because, you know, we've still got this. I'm going to move on for a second just to have a look around what else is there. This has to be a high digit, and it can be anything. 6, 7, 8. Well, I mean, it can't be 5, but it could be 6, 7, 8, or 9. Am I missing more obvious Sudoku like I was earlier? So the rest of this is 1, 3, 6, 9. 1, 3, 6, 9. We've got the rest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Don't know what this is. Also don't know what this is either. Like, I mean, until the German whisper line whips round and actually know the polarity, like, all of these are valid. And in here, we've got 4, 5, and 8. Obviously, 5 can't be on a German whisper line. 4 can never be in the middle of a box that we know the German whisper line doesn't end. So we know that if it is breaking, it's only in here. And therefore, if this is a 4, not only is this a 9, there'll be another one somewhat hidden in the fog that we can't see yet, another 9. So that is definitely an 8. That removes 8s from all of these, makes this a low digit that is not 6 or 9, it's 1 or 3. 1, 3 pair means all of these are not 1, 3. And then these 3 cells have to add up to 21. This also needs to be 1, 2, or 3. Not quite a triple. Nearly there. Does this have to be a 9? If this is 6 and 5, as in maximizing everything, that's 11. That would have to be a 10. So that definitely has to be a 9. This definitely has to be the 6. Then once you remove the 9, I'm left with 12. So it'll be either 4, 8, which it isn't, or 5, 7, which is the only option that I have. So that's 5, that's 7. That means that this is 4, and that this is 1, 2, or 3. The 2 is in one of these 2 cells. The 4 is in one of these 2 cells, which means one of these 2 is a 9, given that one of these is a 4. Don't think I have too much more right now. This is a low digit. This is a high digit. It is not 6, 7, or 8. It's another 9. Twists back on itself with a low digit that is not a 2. Can't be a 4. Confident enough to put it, because that would be requiring a double 9. So it's not 2 or 4. It's 1 or 3. Then another high digit that is not 7 or 9, it is 6 or 8. Can't be a 6 or be a double 1 in the column. That's an 8. Can't be a 4 next to the 8. That's a 1, that's a 3, that's not a 3. That 1 makes this a 2, leaves the dream of a 7 up still. That's a 6, that's a 3. These are not 3s, that's a 1, 4 pair, that's a 1, that's a 2, that's the 3. Fabulous puzzle as usual from Meggen. And this time, either I'm a bit more awake, possible, or it's just a little bit more approachable. This is not 7 or 9. So essentially the rest of this box, I need another 4, I need a 5, and I need a 7 or 9. This is not 7 or 9 or 5. That is a 4. That is, to finish it up, a 2. I still need a 5 and a 7, 9. That is not 7 or 9. That's what I'm trying to point to. That's 5. That's 7, 9. That is not 7. That is not 9. That's 7. That's 9. This is not 8 or 9 now, and that means from these 2, which one can be the 4? It can only be this one now, with a 9 in here. That's a 1. Leaves the option of this being a 6, with a 1 there. It's not a 2, actually. And whether it's 6 or 7, this is 1. Can't be 4. This is the 6. This is the 2. Doesn't give me this cell. That's not a 1. So 1, 2, 3. I need a 4 and a 7. And then I need in here 1, 5, 6, I'm going to say. Not 1, not 5, not 6, but no resolutions. This is a high digit that is not a 9, 8, or 6. It is only a 7. This can't be a 1. It can only be a 2. I think we've almost done the entirety of this German whisper line, and that 6 can be, well, I was going to say can be either, but it's not. There you go. German whisper line, done. So, and to be fair, we've got most of this unrevealed. 13 cage is probably going to come handy in a second. I say a second, I'm going to look at it right now. 2, I need 5 and 8. Now, can't be 5, 8 in here. That's already 13. That would have to be a 0. And remember, this is 5 or 6. So there's definitely a 2 in here. which means I need an 11. And I think it would require it to be a 5-6 pair because I don't have 8 and 3. So that's a 2, that's a 5, that's a 6, and that's the 8. And that may give us some more things. Might. Yeah, that's the only place for a 2 now. I removed, so this is 1, 5, 8. It's not 1 or 5. So yeah, that is 8. That is 1 or 5. That is a 5, 1, and 6. Let's see if we could just quickly reveal this cell with something. What do I need in the row? I need a 4 and a 5. That's the only place for a 5, I think. And the 4, and that's the entire fog removed. We've got it from here. Well, I mean, never celebrate too early. 3 and something, 3 and 8. 8 is in here, 3 is there, 3 is there. I need 7 and 9, that's the 7. If I've not made any mistakes, that's the 9 for the finish. Fantastic puzzle as always, Meggen 033. Slightly more approachable, at least for me, compared to some of the previous fog puzzles from Meggen. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this puzzle in the video, and I'll see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.